Good evening, folks, and welcome to another edition of the Pilot Review Show. I am Captain Blade J52, and I am joined by my merry cohorts this evening. We have our resident teacher of the Kirby variety.
Howdy-ho!
And we also have our resident Neela with us this evening.
Alonzi.
Our resident Artie, we believe, is charging his mobile emitter. He might be joining us, but we're not 100% sure just yet. But if not, hopefully he should be back with us next week. We are currently on location on the banished Andorian girls star base in celebration of their 1-year anniversary. So very big congrats to those guys. But anyways, we've got some pretty interesting stuff we want to get through this week for you guys. So let's go ahead and dive right in. And I probably just gave away the budget build because I didn't think to tab, but...
Uh-oh.
Well, anyway. And the first thing we have starting off here is the Zen discount going for the... I believe this is for the Xbox One at the moment. And everything. At least that's what the blog's saying. And it looks... Oh, there it goes. Twitch was acting funny for a moment. But... anyways, for you guys out there on the Xbox One and everything, you guys are getting a Zen discount. Everything. Normally, if... and the amount of discount that you get actually is going to vary a bit and everything. So if you get something such as 1,000 Zen, which is normally about $10, you're now only paying $8.99. If you get 2,000 Zen, then you get a 15% discount. What is normally $20 would be $16.99. Then if you buy $50, which would be 5,300 Zen, that's a 20% discount for $39.99. 11,000 Zen, which is $100, would normally only run you $75 with this discount. Then if you bought the Granddaddy, which is the $200 pack, which is 23,000 Zen, you're only paying $133.99. So if you're looking to stock up on some Zen, maybe there's a ship pack you've got your eye on, maybe you're wanting to shoot for that lifetime subscription or whatever it is, now's definitely your time to be investing in Zen.
Yes, yes it is.
Any quick comments from the panel?
Not really. I mean, I always like the Zen discounts. They're nice. It's a good time to buy Zen when you see them. If you can afford it, that is. But yeah.
Yeah, I just gotta say, I like how they always go something and 99 cents. It's like, really? Ooh, penny!
I can tell you what, I can tell you what it is. It's an old retail trick that they use.
Oh, I know what it is. I just find it funny.
Yep. So if anybody's curious, I can tell you exactly why they do the 99. It's an old retail trick and everything. There's actually two things that people credit it to. It was way back before automated cash registers and everything. If something, they wanted $10 for it, they would do $9.99. That way that the person is entitled to a 1-cent change. Therefore, hopefully, the cashiers would have to be honest. Now, today, it's more used because a lot of people just see the 9 and they think, oh, it's $9, when in actuality, it's $9.99.
And a lot of that, too, has to come with the way that retailers write that. They don't write all three numbers the same size. Anything past the decimal point is much smaller. So that your brain kind of discounts it, and you round by the first number.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, it is a neat little trick and everything that they use, so there's a little bit of a history lesson from the show this evening, I guess. It's something.
There you go.
So there's some more useless info you never knew. But, well, maybe useful, depending on who you ask, I guess. But, moving right along, we have the Mirrors and Smoke Week 3 rewards.
Yep. Here we got the Mirrors and Smoke Week 3 rewards for console. Last week was the Kentari mass-produced missile launcher, which, to be honest, is an awesome little toy to play with. But this week we got the Kentari Fortified Personal Shield. First completion of the mission, you get the featured episode weekly box. For Universal Tech Upgrade, or a spec point. You can put it to any the tech upgrade to any character because it will be bound to account. The personal shield was able to react to incoming threats by modulating some of its excessive power to boost the effects of plasma-based weaponry. When you use the other Kentari devices or gear, you'll get excessive power, can be further modulated to protect the wearer. Counts towards the excessive development set. With the 2-piece, you get 12.5% chance, plus temporary hit points for 60 seconds when you take damage, plus 20% plasma damage. Or 3-piece set, you call in a bombardment of plasma residium reactant. The target area is supplied with a healthy coating of residium reactant stacks. Once applied, you can then trigger this power again to deploy a catalyst within the hazardous area to deal additional damage based on the amount of residium reactant stacks. I feel like physics class right now. Next week, we will reveal the final reward for Mirrors and Smoke.
Well, I can tell you that that 2-piece bonus, the temporary hit points, whew, that is very helpful when you are taking fire. Let me tell you.
Indeed.
So, yeah. So, especially if you're running this on a low-level character, pick up the different parts. If you're running it on a low-level character, a friendly reminder, it will upgrade for free up to Mark 12. So,
yep.
Now is the time to get it on a low-level character if you're going to do that.
That's actually one of the big things I was going to say is... now, I actually did just what Kirby said. I was leveling a PC character not too recently, and whenever we had this as the featured episode on here, I actually did pick it up, and it did pretty well, easily as good as any low-buy armor, I would say. The fact that you can upgrade it for free to Mark 12 is a very big plus. Now, the only thing that does kind of suck, of course, is because it upgrades for free, you don't have a chance to really flip it early. That's my only real gripe with that. But yes, definitely pick this up on your Lobby tunes, because that will be a lifesaver, not having to worry about something like that very early on.
Yeah.
But, anyways, definitely go out there, be sure to get your spec point or your universal tech upgrade, if nothing else. Everything, this is well worth the time to go get the items, as well as to get the thing. And I just noticed a very big stupid that I've been doing this whole time, but I'll tell you guys in a minute.
Are we gonna laugh?
Yeah, big time.
Oh boy.
But, anyways, let's see if I can... Okay, I think that's got that fixed. Let's just say I'm going to have to do some splicing after the show, but...
Ruh-roh.
Anyway. Yeah. Lo and behold, my local recorder crashed. But anyway.
No.
It'll still be on Twitch and everything for me. But anyway, I can kind of pick up and go from here, I guess. But... anyways, continuing along.
Moving right along. We have our Ferengi Admiralty Campaign.
Admiralty.
So we're getting, yes, another Admiralty Campaign.
Not that I said that just to annoy Kirby or anything.
He did. He so did. I'm telling you, this is what I live with. They mispronounced it on purpose.
Yep.
Anyway. The Ferengi Admiralty Campaign. So, they're going to add a 4th Admiralty campaign, so you can send your spaceships, your extra ships, off on missions, kind of like duty officers go on missions, and get rewards. So, this one will focus on, let's see, what did it say it was going to focus on, where is it? Primary focus on dilithium ore and gold pressed latinum. So, if you're looking for dilithium, this may be your way to get it. Just remember, Admiralty opens up at level 52. So, we definitely recommend all the Admiralty campaigns. They're a nice way to level your character between 52 and 60 to help get spec points afterwards, especially the Federation campaign will help you to get specialization points afterwards. And this one will help you get dilithium ore and gold pressed latinum. So what do you think, guys?
That there's going to be more gold pressed platinum loot.
There is. The interesting thing for me, there's not a whole lot that gold pressed platinum will get you right now.
No, that's what I'm saying. That with this, they're going to most likely add more stuff to buy for platinum.
That's what I'm wondering.
Yep.
And did you see the name of the Admiralty ship you get?
Quartz Triumph. That's right, you get an Admiralty ship. Once you complete level 10 of this Admiralty campaign, or all 10 tour of duty assignments will reward you 30,000 dilithium ore. Reaching tier 10 in this campaign gives you access to Quartz Triumph, and that's an Admiralty ship card. It is not an actual ship for you to fly. Don't say, but TeacherKirby said it's a ship for me to fly. I did not. Okay, it is a Admiralty ship card. Okay, and they do not have the stats in here. I really wish they did, because that would be like really nice. We could see how great it's gonna be. But yeah, that's interesting name there.
They won't have that until they actually are ready to announce it.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I'm actually surprised, in all honesty, that they're adding yet another Admiralty campaign. At least this particular one, anyway.
They said they were going to.
Well, I'm not...
They did.
I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm not really surprised they're adding campaigns. More so I'm surprised they're adding a Ferengi campaign, if that makes sense. And everything. And that is actually the scuttlebutt going around as far as Gold Price Platinum, that there is actually going to be some extra stuff coming. As far as to what they're going to be adding, they didn't really say. I know some people did try to ask Ambassador Kale and also Bordicus if you managed to catch the stream on Wednesday for their local dev stream and everything.
And they gave their standard answer.
Yep, that they can't talk about upcoming content and everything.
They can't talk about upcoming content.
TBA.
Yep.
They can neither
announced,
confirm nor deny. Yeah.
Yep. So
if you keep bugging Kale, he will
slap you.
No. He will say TBA, but he'll keep working around. Keep saying TBA, but the way he says it makes you more and more certain that something's coming.
I think that's reading into things, wishful thinking.
Could be.
More than anything else.
But
okay.
Have you not listened to Kale to speak?
This is true.
I have.
And he could be doing that just to screw with people too, knowing Kale.
He could.
But,
yeah.
Anyways.
I hope he is.
Anyways, we will definitely have this in the notes for you guys and everything. If you're kind of curious, you might want to check out the blog and everything. But, moving right along, we have our upgrade weekend on the consoles. So, from June the 22nd until Monday the 26th, you guys will be getting twice the amount of tech points on all of your upgrades. So, if you've been looking to go out there, maybe you've been wanting to upgrade that certain beam weapon, maybe you're looking to upgrade that certain set of shields or a warp core, now is definitely the time to do this. And we should mention that this does work on virtually all tech upgrades. everything. This does include Omega techs, the Phoenix Prize Pack techs, Superior techs. Anyone that you can pick up virtually will work in the upgrade weekend and benefit from twice the points. So definitely go out there, check that out, and start getting to work on them upgrades. So, comments, anybody?
No,
Always
just
go
another
for it.
great time to take advantage of those things. So yeah,
Indeed.
go and upgrade your stuff.
But yeah,
Kirby, dance,
Yeah. Why?
dance.
Dance?
he wants you to dance in the game.
I thought I was.
Yeah.
No, sadly you're not. At least I'm doing the air guitar and
There.
everything, and, you know.
There, I'm dancing.
Sorry, that was bugging.
There.
Yep. And we can pan around, and y'all can see it's a pretty good amount of people that turned out for this,
Yep.
actually. Everything. So yeah,
It's a party.
That's one thing I want to say about my fleets. So loyal, family. They are best friends that I will most likely never meet in person.
yeah, these guys definitely know how to host a party, I'll give y'all that. That is for dang sure. But, anyways, moving right along, we have one of our more talked about things this week, the updated Constitution and Miranda options. Look at you,
Yep.
Sir Neela.
We got the updated Constitution Miranda option. We saw these a little bit on Tribble. This is in the new R&D promo. The Soyuz class and Miranda class improvements. The Fleet Advanced Light Cruiser for the T6 update to Soyuz class. It was only seen in Star Trek Next Generation episode Cause and Effect. Soyuz class USS Bozeman. Love that name. Striking variant of the Miranda. Extended aft hull, large equipment pod attachments. You can now purchase this ship to have access to the variant parts. You can customize with other Miranda variants if you already have Fleet Advanced Light Cruiser. You will also have access to the Soyuz parts. And with this, you'll also have new improvements to customize your Mirandas that will be freely available for any Starfleet light cruiser or advanced light cruiser. The first one is the Miranda Beta saucer. This one's based on the 24th century refit of the ship, seen in Deep Space Nine. And it's paired with the Miranda Beta nacelles, Type 8B material to complete the 24th century look. And then the Miranda Beta strut. Announced when they announced the revamp of the classic Miranda, some players were sad to see the cryptic update of the Miranda's roll bar disappear. They created a new version of the strut that has been embedded. It has the embedded deflector dish on it to pay homage to the way the ship looked at the launch of Stowe, which I kind of like that detail that they're paying homage to when the game launched. The next screen you could see the Type 8 material on the left, which is a lot lighter and a lot cleaner. Whereas the Type 8B material is more rustic, I would say, and like it's seen action before. Now onto the Constitution. as the blog says, this is almost entirely new Enterprise. If you look at the third image of the Constitution refit, you can see the old on the left and the new on the right. The old one was more dark and very dated, with the new one being more sleek and almost looking like it's ready to basically boldly go when no one has gone before. And they also have a bonus to the classic variant of the Constitution. On the third one of that one, you'll see the series version on the top, and then the pilot version on the bottom. So, I hope you all, if you're Constitution and Miranda fans like any of us are, I hope you all take a look at them. Especially the series and pilot version, because they are subtle differences.
And before anybody asks and everything, I think we do need to point out something that actually Ambassador Kale and Bordicus themselves pointed out, is when it says pilot version, this does not mean they're adding a new pilot specialization of the ship. They simply mean the 2 original pilot episodes. As you can see, there's the one that we got in the series, and then the 2 original pilots. You can kind of see that little bit of variation there.
Like, for the
we
series...
should say pilot episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really does
like
just say that.
Yeah, for like the series version Deflected-ish, you'll see that it's more almost embedded right there, instead of sticking out like the pilot version is. As the pilot version is more jutting out from the deflector.
You can see that.
What do you both think about it?
I honestly think for the Constitution that I definitely prefer the new refit version better than I did the old one. To me, I guess the best way I'm trying to describe it is the old version, while it worked, it looked okay and everything, to me it just looked like the ship was going to fly apart at any second. Like it was way too old to still be in service and everything. And to me, it was too much of a departure from the refit Constitutions for my personal liking. Whereas this gives you something more clean and everything, while still paying homage to the original and the motion picture. But, and we should mention as well, if you already have the ship for the Constitution Light Cruiser, or you actually have the Tier 6 version, then you will get these for the Constitution as well. You don't have to go out and buy a new R&D pack just to get it. But anyway.
On to the next one. The PC patch note.
But anyways, we will definitely have this in the notes for you guys to check out once the local recording and everything does go up and whatnot. But moving along, we have the PC patch notes for the 22nd.
Yes, they are here. Alright, so I think the biggest thing that people have been talking about has to do with Ryza, and that's the issue where the arguing couple, the fireworks, and the Makbara Klingons only appear for about 20 seconds every 2 hours. So they now appear for approximately 20 minutes every 2 hours. I think somebody put a decimal in the wrong place. Initially. Yeah, those are for the Master Relaxer accolades, so kind of important things. And they're on a schedule now because the day and night cycle, because they had to change the day-night cycle because of the new lighting. So,
which is dumb.
yeah, so now they appear every 2 hours for about 20 minutes. Players are now able to sit properly in their chairs. Yay for our peers.
Unless you use the not glitch, but unless you click the chair while you have the jetpack on.
Okay. And Mark's packages. The ornithologist now shows the Lucari and temporal marks as rewards. When I read this, I was kind of confused because I had been picking up Lucari marks on my free-to-play account through the ornithologist, so I was scratching my head a little. But I'm guessing some people had issue with this. They resolved some clipping with the male wetsuit and the female rash guards. And you can now change the color of the board shorts or the rash guards without it changing the color of your board shorts. Borg red alerts now give more than 1 mark. Yay! The pounce trait is not being affected by kit performance anymore. And photonic fleet can no longer be used in social zones. So if you were in Ryzen number 2 sometime last week, you saw a big old fleet of photonic ships. That's not going to happen anymore. And resolved an issue where the Ryzen... yeah, no idea why. Resolved an issue where the Ryzen luxury cruiser wings did not display properly in sector space. Next up, we have, of course, all the things with the Constitution and Miranda Starship updates that Neela just went over, so I won't go over them again. Thoughts?
You missed one.
I don't see anything that I missed there, Neela.
I don't know. What did she miss, dude? What did she miss? Tell me.
What did I miss?
They resolved an issue where most of the Kirby model would disappear under certain conditions. So now, instead of seeing nothing but windows and the fins in the front and the fins in the back, you can now see your whole ship.
Nah, I think he's seeing things there, Darkblade.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Rub it in. I can't have this one moment. This one moment.
Plug it in,
of
plug
course
it
we're
in.
messing with it.
He would be worried if we ever logged on and didn't give him grief. But you folks see kind of how we roll here and everything. But
see, actually, I went this way because he told me before that when I read the patch notes, I had to go, woo, Carpy's mix. And I went, okay.
And yes, she did it. I win.
Okay.
But anyways, moving right along,
But
we will
yeah.
have this in the notes for you guys, so you can check the patch notes out if you would like. We have the 23rd Century R&D promotions. From the 22nd until July the 5th, they will be running the promotion that has brought back the special requisition pack for the 23rd Century Tier 6 ship. Now, whenever you open a reward pack for the R&D materials and everything, the ones you purchase from the exchange, that is, or from the exchange or from the C-store, everything, you'll have a chance to either earn 10 low-buy crystals or the 23rd Century pack. Now, with this pack, you have a choice of what ship you want, depending on which faction you open it on. If you open it on the Federation, you will get the Temporal Light Cruiser Tier 6. This is the Constitution class. If you open it on the Klingon side, you will get the D7 Temporal Light Cruiser. Or no, the Temporal Battle Cruiser, that is, my bad. And then if you open it on the Romulan side, you will get the Talis Warbird. Or Talis Temporal Warbird, I should say.
The Talis is so sexy.
Yes, it is. So you've got a couple of options for buying your R&D packs. You can get them individually for 300 Zen, or you can get a 4-pack bundle for 1,000 Zen and everything, and you will receive 4 separate packs when making that purchase, and not one pack that unpacks 4. And one thing we always do like to mention and everything with promotions like this, once the promotion ends, if you have any leftover packs that you didn't open, they are not going to be taken away from you. So even if you open this one of those packs about 6 months from now, or even a year from now, you'll still have the ability to get the 10 low buy, or perhaps one of the ships. It just really depends and everything. But that is one thing we did want to mention. The only thing with that is if you buy R&D packs after this ends, then there'll be the regular R&D packs, and you won't be able to buy new packs that give you a chance at the ship unless you purchase them off of the exchange. But
yes, and the other thing is these ships do now include the updated skins, or the updated things from the or for the Miranda and the for the Constitution. Can't words tonight.
Words hard.
For the Constitution, yes, words are hard.
Indeed. But I actually own the Constitution myself on a character. I actually love the ship. It is very versatile and everything as far as the layout and everything goes. And surprisingly, it was a 5-3 layout and everything. So if you're somebody that loves the original series Constitution, then I highly recommend checking this ship out. It's one of the stronger ships that I've ever had.
I would imagine so. 5-3 layout is pretty nice.
Whew, had to mute my mic for a second. But, sacking up a lung for a moment. But anyway, I'm good, I promise, I think. But yeah, definitely check these ships out and everything. They're usually pretty pricey if you're having to buy them from the exchange. But, in my opinion, they are one of these ships I would say that is well worth the investment. But anyways, we will have this in the notes for you guys and everything. I highly encourage you to check it out and everything, especially the new skins, to see if maybe you want to go for one of the ships. But moving right along, we have the subscription sale.
Yep. As he just said, lifetime subscription is now on sale for all platforms. Yes, the blog says on PC, but it's for all platforms. Bringing price down from 100, so instead of it being $2.99, it is now $1.99 and 99 cents. You'll get, as soon as you buy it, you'll get all the rewards instantly. You might have to log out, log back in if you're in game. You get unlocks like playable Talaxian, instant access to all veteran rewards, priority login. For PC, you get 500 Zen. Console, sadly, you don't, because Microsoft and Sony were like, yeah, no 500 Zen a month.
Yep. So you can blame Microsoft and stuff for that.
Also, for console, since you don't get to 500 Zen, I would recommend you do Dilda Zen since you can do that, since you can buy it right from the C-store. Since you don't get the 500 Zen a month, or if you have the money and don't mind forking the money over it because it's on sale, or do half money to get half the Zen you need, and then the other half Dilda Zen. Could be a way to do it.
And it appears our resident Artie has finally made it. He was able to activate the backup generator for his, his mobile emitter.
Holographic, yep, there you go.
I couldn't think of the word for some reason. Apparently it's one of them nights.
But yes, I am here.
Yes. But I believe it actually... Let's see if I can open up the vet rewards to show for you guys. And as far as the rewards, let's give this a second. Okay, there it goes. So, one of the big questions that we do get asked a lot and everything about the lifetime packs is it worth the money? What all do you actually get with it? And everything. And in my personal opinion, I actually think that it is worth the money. Now, we actually, when we looked at everything that you get, and I actually have the rewards screen up at the moment, when you total up the value of what every bit of this would be to purchase it normally, you're actually coming out ahead in this instance and whatnot, even if you don't get the 500 cent a month. Like for the 100 days, you get a free respec, you get a veteran badge and everything, you get a skill point boost and everything, and you get a title. Now that free respec right there in and of itself is about 500 Zen and everything. Then for 200 days you get a ship slot, you get some veteran jackets and everything. Those are, how much are those veteran jackets normally, Kirby? The Odyssey and Borderskew?
Oh,
Are those like 1,000?
Remember.
Something like that, 700?
I think so.
Yeah. We actually sat down
7,500 or 1,000.
We actually sat down and we totaled this up one day and everything, and I want to think it came out to like 225 or something like that and everything. I don't remember the exact amount that it was, but you can see you get some free character slots, different boosts and everything. You get full respecs, access to the captain's table, you get the captain's yacht and everything. And you can see as I'm scrolling down, you get multiple respecs. Then the free Vice Admiral ship token, that will give you access to a number of Tier 5 ships that you could get from the Sea Store, and you will get one of them for free. Everything, which is actually pretty good. So,
you also get a personal skills respect token upon every level up.
Indeed.
Every 10 levels. Which is...
And this is in addition to the free one they give you. We do want to mention that. That is in addition to that. So, at 700 days, you get the android bridge officer and everything. You can get either a male or female android. You can get them in any of the 3 base specializations, tactical, science, or engineering, which is very good. Then you get, for 800 days, a ship upgrade token, which will take any one ship from Tier 5 to Tier 5U, which is pretty good. And then you can see some more full respecs, different material things. Then at 1,000 days, this is, in my opinion, where it pays off the most, and where you get the most value out of it, and everything. Because you get 6 starships handed to you for free. You get the Tier 5 Chimera, the Peghoch, however you say that for Klingons, and the Danos Heavy Destroyer for Romulans. Now, these were the Tier 5 veteran ships and everything, back whenever Tier 5 was the max. Whenever they introduced Tier 6, they upgraded and gave us a Tier 6 pack. Everything, you get the Manticore Heavy Destroyer for Feds, the Dolph Kuf for the KDF, and the Denays for the Romulan. Probably butchered the names, by the way, and everything, so I'm very well aware of that before anybody tells me in chat that I did or anything. And then you get a free starship slot, and you get 3 exclusive forum titles to choose from. The Starfleet Vet, the Empire Vet, and the Republic Vet. So, the ship packs in and of themselves, if you were to buy these normally, comparable packs would be $60 a piece. So, at just the 1,000 days right there, that is about $120 worth of value. So, it is very well worth it to purchase the lifetime, but for no other reason than all this stuff here alone. But, anyways, we will have the stuff in the notes for you guys. I am going to include the link to the veteran rewards. Actually, I believe that does that in the... Okay, good. That actually does that in the subscription sale, so I won't have to link to that page specifically.
It does.
That gives a link. But, moving along, we have the Endeavor system that has been announced.
Yeah. So, It's my turn, right?
Yep.
Okay, just making
Artie's
sure.
got the RP blog.
Yep.
Okay. So the Endeavor system is, it reminds me of the, in reading it, it reminds me of the server-wide challenges. You remember those?
Yeah.
So it's a limited time challenge, and you get rewards. So it will come to STO in a future update. Later in the article, they use the word soon. So I'm going to say
TM.
trademark. We have no idea when this is coming. So I'll say that right away. So the way they describe it, every 2 to 3 days. So they're saying it'll update for Monday and Tuesday. And that'll be one endeavor. And then Tuesday and Wednesday
Wednesday and Thursday.
will be a new Wednesday and Thursday. So Monday and Tuesday, can't words tonight. Then Wednesday and Thursday will be another endeavor. And then Friday through Sunday. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday will be the last endeavor for the week. And it'll be on this cycle every week. And you'll have lots of opportunities to pursue the different goals. Whichever endeavor is active will be active for all players. So it's not going to be like Darkblade gets one endeavor and I get a different one and Artie gets something else. It's going to be server-wide. Everybody has the same endeavor. So you can team up and help your friends or fleet mates to complete them. The endeavors cover a wide range of activities. So if you don't like one, skip it. You might like the next one. But they may encourage you to try gear you haven't used before. Play content you haven't tried yet. Things like that. So look for it. A lot of times it'll probably be things that you would normally do anyway. Or things that, it only takes an extra minute. Like finishing an R&D project. Or, contributing to your fleet, something like that. So check them out, look for them. We don't know when they're going to be, but they might give you a mix. They're going to give you a mix of pile of energy credits or a box of marks, some bonus dilithium ore, crafting materials, or extra XP. And there's a chance for a jackpot for an extra large prize from any of the above. So look for this coming soon. We don't know when.
Indeed.
Sounds adventurous.
Kind of
It
reminds
does.
me of the daily quests in World of Warcraft in a way. Because
A little bit.
with some of the factions in WoW, they may have you go to this part of the world, kill so many of this mob one day. Then the next, they may have you go here and pick up this type of mining material or something. You just, with such a wide variety, you never
Something
really knew.
simple.
Yes, it was always
Right.
something simple. You never... I mean, you could get ideas of what they might have you do, but you never really knew for sure until you picked it up and actually did it and everything.
Yeah. Well, like the examples they give are defeating enemies of a certain type. So I might say defeat X amount of Tholians. Or inflicting damage with a particular kind of energy weapon. Or participating in queues. Contributing to your fleet, finishing R&D projects. These are the examples they get. And when you finish it, you'll earn the rewards instantly.
Yep. But as soon as we hear more on the Endeavor system, we will actually post that up, maybe tweet it out for you guys if it's during the week, whatever we hear, and everything, because this is
Yes.
definitely something that is going to be interesting, and depending on the rewards, could be very well worth it. Everything.
Yeah, basically, what I think they're trying to do is, instead of doing hourly missions like they used to, they are bringing this to give players another thing to do. That is not what you don't have to think about it. You can just glance over, see what it is, and be like, oh, I already do that. So.
Yeah.
But anyways, we will have this in the notes and everything, so you guys can check out the blog and whatnot. But as soon as we hear more about that, we will make sure to let you guys know. But moving along, we have our RP blog for this week, which is A First Tale.
Alright, well, as most RP blogs, you have some very deep behind-the-scenes story about something that's going on in the world, or something that may not have happened yet, or something that may allude to a new plot line or something. As for this one, I'm not going to name any names for the characters or anything, but you have a old soldier behind a force field, behind prison walls, and he meets an unlikely friend, basically. They get to talking, and you get to see some encouraging words, if you want to call it that. But I think there's going to be something going on here about the location and who's talking about their past. So, what do you guys think?
Interesting. Yeah, I wondered why they're bringing that particular species in at this time. It is interesting who's running the prison, though.
Oh yeah.
And why one of them was thrown in.
I have to agree about that.
Yeah.
You would think you would be done with these guys.
Oh, the one was thrown in.
I personally have not had a chance to read this one yet, so not.
You're missing out.
Apparently so. Yeah, I need to do that. There's not really too much I can say, except I get the feeling I'm going to enjoy reading this one. And, of course, in our voice chat, they're passing lines back and forth.
Uh-huh.
Go figure, knowing Artie and Neela. But, we'll definitely encourage you guys to read the blog and everything. Like I say, we try not to give too many details away on the show. That way we don't potentially spoil it for anybody that may want to read it on their own. But we will have the link to it later on, once everything goes up. But, moving along...
Hang on.
Oh,
but,
go ahead.
To finish that, filthy keg.
And there it is.
I almost thought there was a Klingon in the room.
I know, right?
But anyways, we will link this for you guys so you can check it out and whatnot. But moving right along, we actually have our budget build for the evening. And I may have spoiled this a little bit ago, but this actually came about as a request and everything. We were going to do our mid-range build in our series for the Amari Smuggler's Escort. But since Artie happened to mention shuttle builds and everything, I figured I would do a budget build after this request over one that I've kind of put together and has been working at the advice of Sir Artie.
I'm excited.
And
yeah,
what I actually have is a Delta-class shuttle. I was one of those weirdos. I actually liked the Delta Flyer from Voyager. Wish they would have used it more and everything. And when I found out I could get the Delta Flyer, I figured, what the heck, it's only $5. Or only 500 Zen. And everything. So, as far as the shuttles go, you really only have 2 weapons and everything. Now, one thing I will mention, as far as the build itself goes, they did not have the Kintari missile launcher in the builder that I could find, so I just left the slot blank and put something in the notes. But basically, the Kintari missile launcher, you can pretty much keep that firing most of the time. So, very, very potent weapon, especially from a shuttle. Everything, and it does benefit from the torpedo spread and torpedo high yield, so that can be pretty nasty. I decided to pair that with a gravimetric photon torpedo because those aftershock gravity wells can be pretty potent and nasty and everything. As far as the shields, the engines, deflector, warp core, that stuff goes. Now, one of the things Artie did recommend to me off camera and everything last week was perhaps use the 3-piece Iconian set and everything, which is a very viable option. Being more of a tank, I went with the Soul Defense for my personal shuttle and everything. But Soul Defense gives you a equivalent of a free neutronium armor, and also gives you that potent 3-piece heal. This is a set that we do feature a lot for the budget builds, because it is a very powerful set for survival and everything. Then, because it doesn't come with a warp core, the warp core that I decided to go with, again at the recommendation of Artie, was the Kobali Field Stabilizing Warp Core. Now, this comes from the Kobali SAMSAR. Now, if you do not have the ability to access a SAMSAR, I did put in the notes that you might consider perhaps the Temporal Phase Overcharged Core. Or perhaps if you're somebody running Iconian set, you could run the Iconian core as well. But we can usually, and we justify using the Kobali core because with the Phoenix Prize Pack, it's only 4,500 dilithium and everything. If you are lucky enough to pick one up, it's not too terribly expensive and everything. But we did include the note in case you are not able to get one. But what makes the Kobali core so good is actually the shield heal that it gives, is one big thing. As far as the device slot, I used a subspace field modulator because of the defensive power that it gives. It is very nice in my personal opinion. For the engineering console, I went with a Trillium D plating, which is basically a neutronium armor and a field generator slapped together for increased resistance and also shield capacity. Now, since this is a bare bones budget, we only had 2 million EC to work with, and the console that ate most of our budget was the Theta Radiation console. Everything. I personally like to have this on a shuttle because if you hit this and then you pop your evasive maneuvers, you can pretty much zip in and out of a group really quickly and cover all of them in the radiation, which will slow them down pretty good and everything. For our tactical console, we went with a warhead yield chamber to buff our torpedo damage and everything. But this console we got from the Terminal Expanse in the Yesterday's War mission. You will have to repeat, or you will have to do all of the missions prior to that in order to reveal that mission. That is the one major drag, as far as getting them from there. Now, for the bridge officers, you actually have 2 bridge officer seats on the Delta Flyer, which is one thing that I like. You get an Ensign Science and an Ensign Universal seat. For Ensign Science, I went with a hazard emitters, mainly because it is a nice little heal. And then also the torpedo spread for the universal seat and everything. But pretty much it as far as bridge officers and stuff goes. As far as skills go, this is pretty much the standard build that I use for tanking and everything, or at least trying to stay alive as good as I can. Kind of see how we've got some of our points in Lieutenant, Lieutenant Commander, also our Commander, then of course Captain, and of course the Admiral. But a couple of things I always do like to point out as far as the weapon specialization and amplification that come in the skill tree. As of Season 13, they were actually changed. The skill builder still does not reflect this yet. And everything for the critical severity bonus, that's actually a 40% bonus as of Season 13. And then the 6% bonus that you would normally get from specialization has been reduced to 4%. But it is still very worthwhile in my opinion. Then as far as the hull pin or the shield pin, I personally prefer the shield pin and everything over the hull. Kirby prefers to use the hull pin. There really is no right or wrong answer in this. It's just a matter of, do you value bypassing armor more, or do you value bypassing shields more? And everything. Both will work well, both do work well, but it is something we did want to mention. Then as far as our specializations go, I like to use Pilot as my primary for the defensive value it gives. I've been using Intel as secondary for a while now, for a lot of the buffs that it gives there. But as far as traits go and everything, pretty much everything here, actually everything here is stuff you can get for free. We have Accurate to offset some of our various penalties to different firing modes. We have Projectile Training, everything. Then we have our Kinetic Precision, because our weapons are mainly kinetic based. Then we have Elusive for free defense. Then we have Grace Under Fire, mainly because the skill builder defaults to an engineer, and this is the career-specific trait for engineers. If you are a tactical captain or a science captain, then you'll just simply swap in your career-specific trait. I also went with Nanite Repair Matrix because it is a nice trait and a free trait from the Midnight Mission. I had Operative for the crit chance and severity. Then I had Fleet Coordinator for free damage based on how many you have in your party. And the Techie to improve the hull healing and everything. You don't really have too awful many heals on a shuttle unless you put them on there. So I kind of wanted to capitalize on that a little bit this go around. For Starship traits, we have the best defense from the House Peg mission. Everything. It is a free trait, it fills the slot. Although you don't really have an attack pattern on a shuttle, still something nice to have if nothing else. And it's free. For Pedal to the Metal, then that comes from our pilot tree. It's a very nice power to have. Then we also have the predictive algorithms. Oh, go ahead, Neela.
And not Intel tree like Kirby thought.
What was that?
Yeah. I know what he's referring to. Basically, he's giving you grief for earlier. And in case anybody's wondering, there was a little bit of a brain fart. We were horsing around earlier, and Kirby basically had a brain fart when she thought Pedal of the Metal came from Intel instead of Pilot. Everything. So we've been kind of giving her grief about that all day. But, anyways, joking aside and everything,
Yes.
they say your Pedal to the Metal and your Intel you can get, and predictive algorithms you'll get from your Pilot and your Intel trees, respectively, and everything. Like I say, I know the best defense doesn't really do anything on the shuttle, but, you know, more so to fill the slot than anything. Then the Chrono Capacitor to reduce the recharge time of your buff powers. Even though you only have 2 Bridge Officer powers, it's still a nice little thing to have in my opinion. We have Precision to buff our critical hit chance in space combat. Advanced Targeting Systems to up our crit severity. And also Advanced Engines, because, you know, more zippiness to the shuttles.
Take those off.
Which ones?
I would take those off, the Advanced Engines, and I would immediately replace it with Omega Kinetic Sharing.
Yeah.
You could.
You're using all torps.
You could.
To have Omega Kinetic Sharing, which gives an additional 40% of torps' outgoing kinetic damage as a shield penetrating damage over time, over 6 seconds. That's huge.
It is.
I can see the two sides of this. One being more speed equals the more evasion to less likely dying, and then Omega sharing to more damage to where you're less likely to die because everyone's dead. So I could see both sides of that. I would say go with Omega sharing though. That would be the better choice.
In retrospect, I might have put that. I'd honestly forgotten about it, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, that is 2 options you do have. If you need more speed, if you need more evasion, then perhaps the Advanced Engines will work better. If you're looking for more damage, then obviously, of course, you've got the Omega Kinetic Shearing in this case. As far as the active reputation abilities go, we do have our Anti-Time Entanglement Singularity. Then we have our Biomolecular Shield Generator. This is the big poofy green ball that people pop up in space. Then we also have the Deploy Sensor Interference Platform for a nice little taunt. Then also the Quantum Singularity Manipulation to buff our science stats. Now the combo we always like to use is popping the Quantum Singularity Manipulation first, follow that with Anti-Time Entanglement and any other exotic abilities that we have, and everything. So, can be very potent. Everything. As far as the notes go, everything, you can see I did make the note about the Kantari missile launcher and everything. We make sure, as always, to tell people where they can get everything. Now, out of our budget and everything, we spent 1.7 million EC, so we have 300k left, because the Theta Radiation Console ran at 1.7. Now, the Gravimetric Photon is 15,000 dilithium. The Samsar, if you get it from the Phoenix pack, is 4,500 dilithium. So you're looking at 19,500 total, or about 3 days, purely due to the dilithium refinement cost. But, yeah, as far as shuttles go, any other comments, thoughts, anybody?
I think you've overlooked one thing about the weapons.
Oh?
The recharge time. The Kantari missiles have a 2.5 second recharge, while the gravimetric torpedo has a 6-second recharge, I think. So the missiles are always going to fire without having the torpedo giving the torpedo a chance to fire.
Potentially. Yeah.
What I would suggest, if you have the Lobi for it, would go for the Ferengi missiles, because that has a 2-second recharge, so they can go. You could always have basically a 1-second space of not firing, but you would be always firing missiles. So there goes less damage, but more damage being thrown out, I guess. But the other way you can look at it is remove the torpedo and put, say, quad cannons, or not quad cannons, an omnidirectional on there. If this was a fighter, totally have quad cannons on there. But as it's a Delta Flyer, I would say just replace it with a some sort of beam or something, just so you can always have something firing.
I'm one of those weirdos that I kind of, in the case of the Kantari missiles, prefer to fire them manually. Is mainly why I set it up that way, and then save the gravimetric as more of a nice little kick in the pants on the way out, if that makes sense.
I getcha.
Yeah. Like I say, definitely some very good options. That is why we like to have the banter like this, so we can present everything to you guys and everything. But, anyways, that's kind of what we got as far as the shuttle and everything goes for this week. If you do have other budget builds you'd like us to do and everything, maybe it's a small craft and everything, maybe it's a tank, a DPSer, a science-type ship, whatever it is, feel free to let us know. Let us know your budget and everything, what you've got to work with. Let us know, obviously, your faction and everything, and we'll see what we can come up with for you. But moving right along, as far as the Bugs Corner goes this week, we are, at least I'm still working on some stuff behind the scenes and whatnot to hopefully get fixed for you guys. Mainly a lot of little nitpicky things. Don't really want to bore y'all with a lot of the details, but we are still working on that. But moving along, we have our Teacher's Corner for this week. What do you have for us, Teacher Kirby?
Shaking your groove thing, of course. With the summer event going on, you see it every time there's a dance-off. People asking, how do I do this? And, you know, and all of that. So this week's Teacher's Corner has been all about how to accomplish shaking your groove thing. So that you can get your 100 favors and be all happy and happy-dappy and stuff. So, yeah, I give you the tips and tricks for shaking your groove thing and show you how to do it without having to type every dance. Which you're going to have to watch the video to find out. Comments?
Indeed.
Very helpful. Just,
Thank you.
as an RPer, I already knew this trick, but for everyone else
sure.
that doesn't RP, it's great for you guys.
Indeed.
I was gonna say, I hope you knew this trick.
Oh, I saw this coming. I already it's like you have to have that off to the
Yeah.
right corner. You just got to make sure it's there.
Yeah.
But
But yeah.
anyways, we will have the link to Teacher's video. I highly recommend you guys check that out if you're into some of the RP events, some of the fun stuff on Risa and elsewhere. But anyways, I believe coming up on our final segment of the evening, we have the RP Corner with Artie. And what have you got for us, dude?
Well, as you might have seen with a previous article recently, the Constitution got a new beef-up look to it, as well as coming out with the Soyuz and the different look of the Mirandas. Well, my thought was, what if someone wants to make a Wrath of Khan-esque, that era of the motion pictures, the motion picture era, type of RP? So I thought I would help you give a little list of what would help you, get that event started. Well, first off, outfit. You always have to have an outfit on your captain just so it fits in with the era. As this is going to be for, the late TOS era, you're going to have your obvious, Wrath of Khan uniform, the red with the white colored little handle on your shoulder. Looks very military-esque. That's simple. Next is your ride. Well, what are you gonna fly? You and your crew's gotta fly in style. If you want something, very reminiscent of, obvious TOS, there's always the Constitution. If you're going with a little bit more modern, there's the Constellation, or the, Excelsior. I almost lost the name for a second. Besides that, you're always wondering, well, what if I get into a firefight? What am I going to use? Well, this will cost a little bit of Lobby, but there are some specialty phasers inside the Lobby store just for this era. As for the space weapons, you have your pulse phasers. That was already set up for you. Haha. But then, someone always comes up with the idea of, well, what if I don't want to play the Federation? I want to play Klingon. Well, you got D7s, you got the Brel Bird of Prey, you got it all handled, don't worry. And for the Romulans, well, that's a little bit more difficult. See, the Romulans don't have much ships from that era, at least from what you can see in game. The idea that some RPers have done is get like the Talis or the other TOS Romulan ships from that era that you get in game, like the Temporal, I don't remember what it was, but it was along the same lines with the Temporal Light Cruiser or whatever. The Temporal version of the Constitution. But it was somewhere along there. Oh, no, my bad. It was the Romulan version of the Atlas. I forgot what name that is. But what you do is take that ship and give it a different skin, basically. More modern skin. It's little stuff, but there you go. And someone's always wondering, alright, so I got my outfit, I got my ship, I got my weapons, I got my enemies. What's next? I need a story. Well, there's always a plot hole here and there. Fill it in. Someone's always thinking, well, what if this part of the movie didn't happen? What if it wasn't the Enterprise that went to go meet up with Gorkon at the to make peace with the Klingons? What if it wasn't the Enterprise that went to go stop Khan? Well, put your captain in that mix. See what happens. Good luck.
Well, seems like a pretty good setup, I guess.
Yes, it does. Sounds like there's, as the RPers always do, they've got some really good ideas how to put this new stuff to use.
Oh, yes. I've actually talked to quite a few other RPers to double check on quite a few of these things. The total, the not difficult thing was, but the more challenging, I guess you could say, would be the actual ships to be used, because the Federation have the most of that era of ships. You have the Miranda, obviously. You got the Constitution. The Constellation is a little late for it, but it works. Then you got your Excelsiors and your Oberth. The little Oberth is always overlooked because of its taininess, I guess you could say. But it works. at least for the Klingons, you get the Braille Bird of Prey and at least a D7. You can go with the Raptors if you wanted to. I have no problem with it. You could totally go with whatever ships you have for the Klingons and totally be like, yes, it works. They totally had that during that era because have you ever seen a Klingon make a new ship in a long time until recently? Come on.
No.
Fair enough.
But let's go back to the Oberth. So are you telling me that among our peers, size does count?
Well, it depends on how you do the RP. I did mention that you did have weapons, like the pulse phasers and such. So if you do run into a challenge like actual NPC combat, or say you get a little lucky and go into PvP combat, that little Oberth is not going to help you in a fight. It's literally going to be the opening of Search for Spock, sadly.
Well, to quote Worf at the beginning of what was it? Oh, the beginning
First Contact.
First Contact. Little. Yeah.
And yes, I will say, even though it is little, and if this wasn't a motion picture-esque era event, I totally know how to soup up in Oberth to go after your Odyssey classes and such. Don't worry. It's scary. It won't work for long, but it works.
Yeah, that's totally not surprising. And why does it not surprise me that he, of all people, would try to fly an Oberth against an Odyssey?
I know, right?
I've taken, what was it? I was still young in this game. It was like 2 or 3 years ago. The Aquarius was a new ship then, more or less. I got the Aquarius, souped it up with as many of my good weapons I had. It was a rainbow boat for everything. Went up against one of the head, like, leading people on the actual, tanking DPS leaderboards. He was in my fleet, and I was like, I challenge you. I want to see what you have. He blew me up a couple of times, but then he realized something I was doing. I was actually piloting the ship to dodge his fire. He did not realize what was going on, and every time he got me down to a low enough, I took him with me with ramming speed. It always worked. I went straight for his bridge, and it blew him up every time.
That's funny.
Jeez.
So size does not matter as long as you know you have a abandoned ship or ramming. Well, you don't have abandoned ship anymore, but you have ramming speed on your side.
That's funny.
Giggity. But anyways, that's pretty much our show for this evening and whatnot. But as always, if you have any bugs and whatnot, feel free to pass them to the way of the crew, and they will gladly pass them along to me. Feel free to come on to the forums and say, hey, we're having this issue and everything. And if you've got screenshots, if you've got video, that's great. And we also still have our GoFundMe if you'd like to see us out at Las Vegas and everything and help with some of the expenses, that's such as electricity for the booth and everything, all that good stuff, and maybe to get some more impromptu interviews. Any and all support you're willing to toss our way as far as that stuff goes is definitely helpful and greatly appreciated, because without you guys we wouldn't even have a show. Also, a good shout out to our friends over at the Temporal Armada. Feel free to check those guys out, as well as their radio station. Also, a proud partner with Kurtang Pirate Radio and everything. Definitely feel free to check those guys out and everything. You should probably recognize their little logo and whatnot. Everything. Very fun group of people. But am I forgetting anything?
No, that seems to be it.
No, that's it.
Alrighty then.
Except for saying goodnight.
But anyways, folks, hopefully we'll have some more interesting stuff for y'all this next week. If you'd like us to maybe help you out with your piloting as well, feel free to submit those videos and we'll see what we can't do for you. But anyways, folks, for now this is the Pilot Review Show, and we're signing off.
As Porky Pig said, that's all, folks.
Oh,